Okay, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to your last session, breakout session of the day. So today we have our presenter is going to be Christy Johnson, and she works for an instructor. She's a Canvas trainer. So let's go ahead and welcome her with a round of applause.
Thanks. All right, well, welcome. We are going to talk about frequently asked questions for beginners for higher ed. So let's get started. If you need a link to the presentation, it's here. So here we go. So which browser does Canvas support? This is a list of the browsers that it supports. I also have a link for you because there are some additional information that you might need to know about each browser. But the biggest thing is the latest 2 versions of your browser. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about which one works best. I use Google Chrome. Hardly ever have issues. I mean, maybe once. But so there we go, browsers. Will Canvas work on my mobile device, right? My mobile device. You get that a lot. Students ask that question, will it work on my mobile device? The answer is this. Yes, you can access Canvas from your mobile device. However, mobile browsers are not supported. We do have apps that students can access their course through. So I gave you a link to all the apps that are available for students to use and access, also for instructors to use with Canvas. Can I customize Canvas? This is probably my most favorite piece, is the fact that it is so flexible and allows for customization. So I put the 3 big main areas of customization when we're talking about customizing your account or your course. First one, account settings. So in Canvas, all users, whether it's students or teachers, can do some customization. You can customize your contact method. You can add additional contact methods like your cell phone, additional email addresses. You can customize by adding web services. So that those are third-party tools that Canvas integrates with. So if you want to enable them, if your admin has turned those on so that you can enable them, like Google Drive, Twitter, LinkedIn, Skype, those are services that all users can enable in their account. You just have to go in and log into your account to enable them. A profile pic. So if your Canvas admin has turned on avatars, then you can actually come in and add a profile picture. All users can customize their language and time zone. So on your account, your particular institutional account, by default, there probably is a time zone and a language that is chosen for your account. But you, as the instructor and students, can now go into their own personal account and they can change that time zone and that language to best fit their needs. Online students who may not be in your particular time zone, you can go in and customize that. And then notifications. So as a user in Canvas, as you add additional contact methods to your account, you now can go in and set what you want the system to notify you about. I will say this is probably a huge thing for college students. I have one myself, and actually they do not use this LMS, and she was like, Mom, we need that. Like, I want to turn my cell phone on, and I want to choose what notifications I want to come to me as a student. Has my instructor added an announcement in my course? You know, students can turn that notification on, and it can come as a text message on their phone. So they really like that feature to be able to add those notifications and personalize them to them. Dashboard. When you go into a Canvas course, users are able to do some customization on their dashboard. So you can go in and actually change the course card, and you can nickname. So currently on my dashboard, when my courses come in from most of the time implementation, that student information system, sometimes that naming convention is really long, doesn't make sense. I have the ability with this pencil that lives in the corner of that course card to click it and now choose a color and also give it a nickname that best fits my taste. Maybe I want to name it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday course, 8:30 class, or Tuesday, Thursday. So that's one thing you can do. Course list. I get to choose what courses I want to actually show up on my dashboard through that course list. So when I go into the course list, it has the ability to star. Notice that there are stars next to each course. When I click in that star, then it allows that course to show up on my dashboard. So I can pick and choose what courses I want to live on that dashboard. So the course card image, I'll come back and answer your question. Course card image, you notice on my dashboard that there were some images jumping around on those course cards. Those are actually instructor only, and just so you know, that image a student will see. Any colors that I choose, any nickname that I give my course, that's just for me. Same thing for a student. If they nickname a course or they choose a color, they're the only ones who see that. But the image does go across. Was that your question? Okay, question, I'll answer.
I'm curious with the course list and the starring, can an admin force them to be starred?
No.
So how do we know when they're going to show up as starred or not?
So by default, when they all come over, they're all unstarred, and most of them all anyway show up on your dashboard. You can go in and take some of those off by starring just the ones you want, and the rest of them will just live on that course list page. That make sense?
Yeah, we're finding the opposite. We're loading all the courses, but none of them are.
None of them are coming over? Okay. Then you would need to make sure that instructors know, go into your course list and star the ones you want. Ours did the opposite. They all came on the actual list on the page. So last customization for dashboard is global stream activities. If you do not like that view, if you don't want to see those course cards and you want to just see the activity that's happening in your entire account, you can come into that dashboard area and toggle that button, and it'll turn on all recent activities in all of your courses. It's not going to change the view for students. They can do the same thing. So just a few customizations that you have, and then course navigation. So as an instructor in your course, when you open a course, you see that long list that have all the course navigation links. As the instructor, I can choose what links I want my students to see by using course settings. So you can actually come in on this slide and click, and it'll have a guide that'll walk you through how teachers can do that. So how can I see how many students are enrolled in my course? In your course, there is a People tab in the navigation link. If you click People, it will show you all of those enrolled in your courses. Now, People will show also users enrolled in your course, whether they've been added by you manually or if your institution is doing that student information system import. So how much file storage do I have in my course? So each course in the Canvas network is allotted 5 gigabytes of space. However, when you import content into your course, you may find that your course is going to inherit what we call that standard 500 megabyte. That's usually allotted for the course in the Canvas settings. I would say this, and this is what I tell most teachers when I'm training them. Don't panic. A lot of people see 500 megabytes and they instantly start to panic and think that's not enough space. But as you're building inside of Canvas with assignments and discussions and pages and using that media tool, it's not counting against your allotted space as far as, you know, what we would normally see if we were on a computer and we were adding files that way. So I have a ton of things. I probably have about 8 courses that I still don't have. It's like at 1%. And it has videos and all sorts of things that are in there. Can I set announcements as my homepage? I get asked this a lot at the higher ed when I go do training. They want those announcements to be on the homepage. The answer is no, but. So in your course, when, and I will just open this biology course. There's a new feature that just came out that allows you in a course to enable the most recent assignments on a content page. So if your home page that you built in your course is a content page from Canvas, you actually built it using pages in Canvas, and you set the home page as a front page, I can now enable and turn on recent announcements, and they will show at the top of that home page. So I gave you a link to do that, but it actually lives in settings. If I go into settings, I'll just kind of show you where it lives because there's a lot of other little features that are hidden there. And I'm here on this course details page. If I scroll to the very bottom, see where it says more options and it's kind of hidden? When I click it, there's a lot of little things that live here as far as course settings. And it says show recent announcements on a course homepage. I just check it, and then I can actually decide how many announcements do I want to show, and it will show up to 15. So that is kind of the way around. I can't make the announcements navigation tab my homepage, but I can actually go in and enable it. So can I see my course like a student? Yes, I love this feature because not only does it allow me to go in and view my course like a student, it actually creates a test student. And that test student will actually show up in the gradebook. So when I'm in my course under student view, I can submit assignments, I can participate in discussions, I can take a quiz. All of those grades will actually come into the gradebook, and I can practice as the instructor grading and using some of those features as speed grader when I first start. Can I add a designer or a TA to my course? The answer is yes, as long as you have the Add People button. So I'll show you where that lives. And of course, in your course navigation, you have people. This again is where you would see students that are enrolled in your course. If you have this button that says plus people, you would then be able to come in and actually add a user to your course. So if you needed to add that course designer who's going to be doing things in your course, if you last minute get a TA, lucky you. If you get that TA person, you can come in and actually add. You do now see that there's 3 different ways to add. It used to just be email only, but you can do it by login ID or your student information system ID. We're rolling through. Can I import content from an existing LMS into Canvas? The answer is yes. You can do this using the course import tool. One of the things you need to know is that when doing that, I'll show you where it lives inside a course on settings, making sure that that learning management system actually lives there. I'm going to have to scroll down because I'm zoomed in. There it is. Import content into a course. When I click that button, it's going to ask me what content type. So you can see the different types that you can import in. So Angel, different versions of Blackboard, Blackboard Vista, Common Cartridge, Moodle. So there's a lot of different file types there that you can import into a course. With that said, kind of leads us to our next question. Can I use test questions or quizzes from Publisher? Again, the answer is yes, as long as those programs either have quizzes that let you export as a QTI file, or if you're doing some type of LTI integration. You can see the most common ones that we have, Respondents 4.0, Blackboard, WebCap, Angel, Moodle 2.0, and then again, any QTI files that are versions 1 or 2, you'll be able to read over. They actually come over really nice. I just did one last week. Can I actually enter and edit scores and add a column in the gradebook? This is kind of twofold. So let's talk about entering and editing scores in the gradebook. You can. When you are in Canvas and you are at grades, let me find it. There it is. I click grades, and I go to my Canvas gradebook. All I have to do is actually click in the column. I have some grades here. There it is. Click in the column and start typing. Press enter, and it will take me down to the next column or to the next student. And so I can manually type in grades. What I am not able to do is, I don't have a button that lets me just create a column. Now, I could come in, if you are very tech savvy and you're very good with CSV files, I can come in and import a CSV file that already has those columns built and bring it in. Or just by standard in your course, when you're creating any graded items, an assignment, a quiz, or a discussion, it's automatically going to populate that column for you. Just what I would really try to stress to, again, instructors, it doesn't necessarily have to be an online submission. Using the assignment tool in Canvas allows me some different submission types. I can have on paper. I can have no submission. Maybe it's something we're actually doing in class, or it's a speech, or it's a presentation. Still going to populate that column for me so I can manually enter those scores. And then how do I get help with Canvas? This is huge. In your course, your Canvas account, at the very bottom, you have this help button. There are some pre-built things that can already live here inside of this help menu. You can have report a problem, which would actually allow you to create a ticket at a system. I love report a problem because it's going to capture all the metadata. It's going to let them know what browser you were using, what course you were in, what page you were on. So hopefully you get a quicker answer to your issue that you're having. You can also come in and search the Canvas guides. Another menu piece that you can turn on is submit a feature idea or ask my instructor a question. Now, as the instructor, you won't see that in the menu, but a student would. So that only shows up in their view. If you have not had a chance, I'm just curious, how many have had a chance to actually be and go into the community? It is filled with answers and filled with resources. So I always like to make sure I point students. As a teacher, I would always say, you know, there's a space for you where you can get some of your answers. How do I use the system? How does it work? I can come in and actually go to the student guide and find those answers. There's a guide for an instructor. There's a video guide if you're a visual person and you need to watch a video on how things are done. You can actually come in and do that. We have guides for all of the apps. So if you want to know more about how to use the apps, definitely go in and look at that. But just the community itself, we're actually broadcasting live on Canvas Live. That's another one of my favorite areas in the community, a place where you can come in and be part of events and sessions that are being hosted by other Canvas users throughout the world, and you can see things that are going on there. Join groups of people who are like-minded like you. So if you're a Canvas admin, join the Canvas admin group. If you are higher ed, join the higher ed group. It's a place where you can chat and ask questions and see what they're doing also at their institution. So lots and lots of resources that live in our Canvas community. So that's the main questions that I get asked. I'm just curious, going to open the floor for questions that you might have that maybe we didn't cover. Yes?
How do you weight the different categories in the gradebook?
So in the gradebook, let me go back. In your course, if you want to do weighted grading, you actually don't start in the gradebook. So you actually start, let me get back there. There we go. You actually start in what's called assignments. So in assignments, see where it says plus group? You create what's called assignment groups. It's really your categories that you're going to use for grading. Now, I still like creating assignment groups, even if I'm not going to weight them for grading, because it allows me, when I have assignment groups, I can come into the settings, and I can press edit, and I can come in and tell the system to drop the lowest score, drop the highest score. I'd never do that. My students would have to stroke. But I also can tell the system to never drop certain assignments. So if I have certain assignments I always want it to grade and never drop, even if it's the lowest score. So even if I don't use assignment groups for weighted grading, I still create assignment groups because I like to tell the system to drop the lowest score. And on which group? Do I want it to do it on test? No, probably not. Maybe on homework. Drop the lowest homework assignment.
Can you do that after, can you weight the categories after that, or the groups after that?
Yes.
And if you want that.
So once you have assignment groups that live, let me minimize these so I can show you. So once I click plus group and I create these 4 groups, in the top right, do you see that little gear icon? I click it, and this is where I would add. And I just have to make sure I click in this box so I can see them and add my percentages. You're welcome. Next question, anyone else? Yes.
So actually, after you create those groups, do the percentage show up in the grade book for students, or do they only see it in the assignment?
They will see it in the assignment. They can also see it in their grades. Let me click on a student so you can see what they see. I'll just click on Annie. Actually, I need to be in grades first, sorry. Can you click happy? All right, here we go. So the student view looks like this. Pretty much like this. They'll see their grades, but see at the bottom, they see the categories, and they see how they're weighting so far in the categories. And the assignment groups, I'm calling them categories, but that's the same thing. Is that right?
Can we group like 2 or 3 items under one? For example, the test and explains in a forum under just
Individual assignments or different types of groups under each group?
different types under.
You can only make one group. You can't put subgroups under that. So if you make a assignment group for, weekly test, I can't go in. When I click plus group, it's not gonna add it as a layer here. But I can come in under weekly quizzes. When I click this plus sign, I do have different types that I can add under. It doesn't have to necessarily be the quizzing tool in Canvas. It may just be the assignment tool or the discussion tool, but I'm counting it as a quiz. Does that make sense? Okay.
We have another question.
Do we have another?
We have a question from the online community from Kevin James O'Brien. He asks, is there a simple way to duplicate quizzes yet or easily copy an assignment?
So duplicate and copy. In your settings, let's see if I can get it there. Down at the bottom. And help me if I'm wrong. I'm like, oh. Typically, you can come in and you can say copy this course, and then on copy this course, you can choose what specific content you want to bring over. Or you can do import content into this course. It's typically how I do it. Or I either share it to comments and then bring it back down into my course if I need to do it. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
And people in the grade book, is there a way to hide the inactive users?
So in people, are you just wanting to know more so in the grade book or in this particular? So this is people.
More so in the grade book, but when our SIS system brings them over, of course, we have active and inactive users.
So even in your grades, so in grades, in this top right-hand corner, like currently mine are hidden because it says show. So if I click show inactive, it will then bring them across. So I would just make sure that it says show because that makes it hidden. People, and people, I know, but I hide that link. I hide the people link for students so they never see that anyway. So that's really just my eyes only. Yes.
In the gradebook, is there a way to see the average of each group, like category, average grades?
So it's here. It's just, I gotta scroll. Whoops. I scrolled too far. Too many fingers. So it's at the end. So you see the different, so is this what you're asking? You see the different, so this is weekly quizzes. And so far it's showing how my students are scoring in that particular category, or what we call assignment group. Is that what you're looking for?
It's more of, yeah, the class average on each assignment right now, or the class average on each.
Like if you need to know what was the average grade that the whole class received on
A particular
a
assignment?
particular assignment.
Okay, so let me go into and show you, I know you can on quizzes, so let me go in. I'm trying to remember which one was actually a quiz. I can see it on analytics, but I can also see it on quizzes. I'm not sure you can do assignments. I haven't seen that yet on assignments. Let me open a quiz. I'm zoomed in, I keep losing it, there it is. So quiz statistics will show me analytics on average for
But
how
it
they're
won't-
doing
It won't show up in the grade book.
on this.
Right, so the only way to get the average is
From the quiz
through
itself.
clicking on each quiz.
But then I can actually see how, I can see just the question breakdown too.
Right. I think maybe we have to collect like for data sometimes to know what the average was in a particular. So
So if
sometimes,
you're a Canvas admin, there are some reports that you can run on the backside of that. Questions, anyone else? In there? Okay, thank you so much. Good luck. Yes, I will. Let me go back. And there is a link to, that is QNAEGM. And it is case sensitive. Looks like we're all. Do we know where there's a link to all of the presentations? Will it be? I do not know. I will try to find out though. Give me just a moment when we end. All right, thank you and have a great rest of the afternoon. Thank you.